Chipped ham and football. That's what Pittsburgh does. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the show. Brian Batko with you from the Post-Gazette. We are presented by FanDuel. I'm one of your Steelers beat writers. Thanks, as always, for finding us. And got a big one to preview this week. Steelers, Chargers, Sunday Night Football. Again, second time in 3 weeks for the Steelers all over NBC. And joining us to talk about it will be Chargers radio analyst Francisco Pinto. He's going to know this team inside and out. I want to ask him about injuries on that O-line, the guys protecting Justin Herbert, who's going to be out there. A lot of Jimmies and Joes going against TJ Watt, reigning AFC Player of the Week, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbert, Cam Heyward. That is going to be an interesting aspect of this matchup to get into. But first, I want to tell you about our friends at Pella. There's no better place to get new windows and doors installed in your home than from Pella. They can help you save on your energy costs year-round. Schedule a free in-home consultation with your local Pella Windows and Doors to find the right product for your home and your budget. Give them a call at 866-593-1560 to discuss your project further. That's 866-593-1560 to get started planning your new windows and doors installation with Pella Windows and Doors of Pittsburgh. All right, we'll be right back with Francisco on the other side to talk about Aaron Rodgers' final game in California, potentially against Justin Herbert, who's given the Steelers fits here on Chipped Ham and Football. All right, and there's our guest for this week, Chargers radio broadcaster Francisco Pinto. How you doing, man? Great to have you on the show.
I'm doing great, Brian. I mean, gotta be honest with you, I was doing better before I watched the Steelers play the Colts, getting ready for the game on Sunday. So that was quite the exhibition, especially on defense by the Steelers.
Yeah, they played really well, and that was a game and a win that I don't think a lot of people here in Pittsburgh saw coming after the way the Steelers struggled against the Bengals and the Packers those previous 2 weeks. And I feel like the Chargers are sort of in the same boat a little bit right now in what's looking like a deep AFC again. And I say deep because, Colts, Patriots, Broncos atop the standings there. But you feel like the Chiefs and Bills are certainly lurking, and, the Chargers, of course, and then even to a lesser extent, the Ravens starting to creep back in there. So I'll ask you this, Poncho, off the top. I mean, what are the vibes like right now around this Chargers team? Because on one hand, they're playing pretty well, getting a win against the Titans. But on the other hand, I mean, these injuries, it seems like every year they deal with so many of them. And it's a shame that I feel like well-constructed rosters from where I sit are just snake bitten year in and year out with them.
The vibes, Brian, is you're in the middle of it. You have to compete. You have to prepare and work hard. That's not a problem when you have Jim Harbaugh as your leader, and you have the likes of Justin Herbert and Derwin James Jr. and Khalil Mack leading the charge, in the locker room. So I think they know very well, what is stake. This Sunday, starting with this Sunday, this is a week one, one game a week kind of league. Yeah. And we're past the game against the Titans in Tennessee now. All the attention, all the focus, changes to the Steelers. So I think it's that. I mean, they know. Nobody knows better than those guys in the locker room, the players they have lost, due to injuries, but they're ready, man. I mean, they're ready. This is a competitors league. If you're not ready to compete and to take advantage of the opportunity that you'll have, stepping up for a teammate that cannot be there, then this is not for you. And I'm sure that these guys are eager to compete against this, against this franchise that represents so much for the NFL.
Absolutely. And when it comes to the Chargers, one of my favorite Jim Harbaugh quotes is, I don't know if it was earlier this year or last year, where he said he wants guys who like football, and if they don't like football, he's going to try to get them to like football. So I'll say that because you're
competitors welcome. That's the one that he uses all the time.
Right, but who are going to be the competitors? Because Joe Alt is now out for the season. Their fantastic second-year tackle, who I thought did a pretty good job last year matching up against TJ Watt when these two teams played. And then now he went from right tackle to left tackle, and now he's
Yep.
hurt too. And Rashawn Slater's hurt. He was the left tackle. So they go from having arguably the best tackle duo in the NFL to, I mean, who the heck's going to be out there? I know they just traded for Trevor Penning from the Saints, but that was kind of a last-ditch effort to shore up the depth. I mean, how ready are these backups for doing battle with some of the best edge rushers in the league and guys who just teed off on a Colts offensive line that had been playing really well and protecting Daniel Jones really well?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about the fact that you can't replace Joe Alt with one player. So they're probably going to have to change the schemes when they play the Steelers. I'm not a coach, so obviously this is the way I see things.
Yeah.
You have TJ and Highsmith and and you have Queen and whatever, pressure Heyward is able to bring to the middle, which has been a point of concern for the Chargers O-line throughout the season. So yeah, I mean, they have their work cut out for them. I think that Jamari Salyer, if I can, from my point of view, he has played as a left tackle in the past during the last season. So Zion Johnson and Boseman, those two as a left guard and as your center, they're gonna stay. Today, Mekhi Becton came back to practice in limited fashion, so that's good news. As well as Tony Jefferson, the safety, and as well as Dean Leonard, which we really need for special teams production as well. So, and you're gonna have, if Becton is ready to play, then it will be Becton and Trey Pipkins as your right tackle. Then you have Foster Serrell. Now you have then you have Austin Deculus, and you add Trevor Penning, who's played both tackles and some left guard as well. So he gives you some flexibility, and the guys have to be ready, man. There's nothing else they can do. I mean, those are kind of the guys we have right now. And I know the caliber of the defense and the players they are going to have to play against this Sunday, but that if that doesn't get your juices going, and nationally televised game, only game that is going to be played on Sunday night, this is gotta be for you, man. This is a huge game for both teams. Obviously, we are in a really tight race in our division, with the Broncos and with the Kansas City Chiefs. So yeah, they're going to be ready, man. I mean, and the way that the Steelers play the other day, yeah, of course that you have to kind of scheme things differently. Maybe use Scott Matlock, a little more as your fullback. Tucker Fisk also in the jumbo package. I think there are ways they can, and above all, to have Justin Herbert kind of running the ball as well. He's coming from 62 yards against the Vikings and 57 against the Titans. Herbert changes everything when he runs and when he extends the plays. That's when it almost doesn't matter who you have on the other side of the ball. He is the X factor that that most teams don't account for.
Yeah, I thought Mike Tomlin was pretty astute on Tuesday, pointing out that when the Steelers faced the Chargers last year, Herbert was dealing with that ankle sprain, and he was not his usual self. He probably came back as soon as he physically could to help his team that week. And now, yeah, he's as mobile as ever. I think back to Steelers Chargers, what was it, 2021, I believe. I mean, he was just running all over the place, and they couldn't do anything with him. And that was a high-scoring affair.
Yes, I remember that game. Yeah, it was one of the last Big Ben play.
Yeah, and Ben almost brought them all the way back in that game, but couldn't quite get there.
And if I remember well, last year it was a game where Herbert got injured in I think the last quarter or the third quarter in Pittsburgh. Because I mean that's a game you guys play, that you guys won in Pittsburgh. So when Herbert is healthy and he extends the plays and he runs, he's a truck, man. He's a train running. He's a hard guy to bring down. He's a lot faster than you will think, being so big and tall. And I think he's going to have to do that. I think that's going to have to be in the playbook, in the offensive playbook this Sunday, especially against this pressure from the Steelers.
And, one thing that the Chargers can potentially exploit is, Steelers secondary is still going through some issues there, health-wise and just performance-wise. And, as well as they played against the Colts, they've had 2 primetime games in their last 3 weeks. Those were the 2 that they lost. So they're probably hungry to get a win under the lights. But, Quentin Johnston looks like he's finally kind of rounding into form as that deep threat. And I think, personally, one of the biggest X factors in this game is Ladd McConkey and what he can do out of the slot. The Steelers need to come up with a plan for containing him.
Well, looking at the game against the Colts, you did exactly what you had to do to beat that team. You got to take the ball away from Daniel Jones. I mean, the way that team scores, it's really hard. I mean, they're scoring 30, 33, 34 points a game. I mean, they're going to score. If they have the ball, they're going to find a way to score. And that was going to be the team, that because in defense, they're very aggressive as well because they know they have that kind of offense. So, but it's different when they have to come from behind. And I think they played the perfect game. I mean, Highsmith, what he did, with the sacks and and TJ with the first deflection, causing the fumble. That's the way you have to play against that team. So it makes it a lot harder for any offense to get going when you get that pressure on the quarterback. In our case, I think we have 3 guys, and now we have 4 around the Gatson, the second, who it's really emerging as a reliable target for Justin Herbert. I think the addition of Keenan Allen to the receiving room, it's done wonders for this team. To have such a respected veteran presence in what otherwise will be a very young receiving room with Trey Harris and Keandre Lambert-Smith. I think it has done wonders for the team. So to have Keenan, McConkey, and Quentin Johnston, he leads the team in touchdowns this season, plus the addition of Aaron Gatson as your tight end, the guy's been averaging, I think, 70 yards plus in the last 3 games. So I think they're very well rounded in that sense. But it doesn't matter if Justin doesn't have time to throw the ball. He doesn't have time to make his reads. So that's why it's so important today for this game, to give him the proper protection so he can scan the field at least a couple of seconds before the pressure is right in front of him.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to talk about the Chargers defense here after a quick break because, there's still some big names on that side of the ball. Former Steeler on that side of the ball as well. We'll be right back with Francisco Pinto from the Chargers Radio Network. All right, Pancho, the Chargers are 3-point favorites on FanDuel last I checked, and that sounds about right to me, being the home team. And then over under of 45.5. I don't know if that's enough points for what's going to go down in this game because the Steelers offense has been moving the ball pretty well. And, we just talked about all the weapons that the Chargers have for Justin Herbert. What can you tell me about the way they're playing defensively? Obviously, we all know Derwin James, but they've got former Steelers cornerback Dante Jackson over there. He was part of the defense that was struggling down the stretch last season. And I know they've been in some shootouts already this year. So do you think that's a secondary or a defense that Aaron Rodgers can have some success against as long as he gets the ball out quickly? Because we know those pass rushers led by Khalil Mack, they're coming.
I think they're coming into form, Brian. I think that to get back Khalil is so important because he really sets the edge, on his side of the ball. And we always get caught up in the sacks and the pressure to the QB, but it's so important to set the edge, and that's one of the things that you guys again did so well against the Colts. I mean, I think Jonathan Taylor ran for 45 yards.
Yeah, he
That's
was
like
putting up video
crazy.
game numbers, and
That's
then all of a
I mean,
sudden,
he was running for over 100 yards a game, and 45. I think it was 55 total yards for the Colts run offense. So that's one of the things that Khalil Mack, even at 34, does as well as anybody in this league. The addition of somebody well, Odafe Owe, the ex-Baltimore Ravens, has
all the
been
Ravens
really
go to the
good for us.
Chargers. When the Chargers or Ravens are done with players, they just shuttle back
I
and forth
know.
between the Harbaugh brothers.
And he has 4 sacks since his arrival to the team. He arrived with 0, although he had a lot of pressures. I think he had 13 pressures when he got to the Chargers. So now he's getting to the QB, and you have Tuli Tuipulotu, who's really somebody who's emerging as a pass rusher star in this league, and to have Khalil Mack, right there with him, absorbing all that knowledge, has been really important. To me, the key also is besides what Derwin James Jr. does, is what Dayan Henley does in the as a linebacker with Denzel Perryman. And Henley played with a heavy heart this last game, because by now everyone in the NFL knows that he lost his older brother, just 2 days before that game. So it was, the team played with a heavy heart that game against the Titans in Nashville. So, and even then, Henley played a heck of a game. He really played well, honoring his brother. And to me, those are the things that allow the secondary from the Chargers to play at the level they have played. I think they are 6th in total yards this season, 5th on offense, 6th on defense in total yards. I think that it comes with that, with the pressure that they're able to bring up front. The Sean Hand, who was really important before he got this groin injury and went into the injury reserve list, he's coming back. At least that's what we know. His window has been activated, or he's going to be activated very soon. So there is a chance he plays there as well. And I think the Chargers they have a really good group of guys, big boys, big guys, in the middle of the defense. The return of the Sean Hand is going to help a lot. The Jamari Caldwell, the Justin Eboigbe, the Tier Tart, who's been one of the best in the NFL this season. So I think defensively they have, they can compete, and I know who's on the other side. He's Aaron Rodgers. It's one of the best ever. It's incredibly smart QB, So yeah, I mean, I know the guys are looking forward to the challenge, man. It's a great opportunity, in front of the whole country to show what they can do.
All right, Pancho, I'm going to throw you a curveball real quick. A former Charger is back on the market now, and he's reportedly going to take a visit to the Steelers. Asante Samuel Jr., who was a corner there for, I guess, 4 seasons, right, before hitting free agency.
That's about right.
Yeah. Then he dealt with some injuries, neck thing, which is always kind of scary. But coincidentally, he had his surgery performed by a physician in Pittsburgh, a surgeon here. So, what was Samuel like as a player while he was out there in LA? And if he's healthy, which is obviously a big if, can he help a secondary here mid-season if the Steelers or one of these half a dozen others or so teams pick him up?
Big heart, great competitor. He has a knack for the football, man. I mean, he has those instincts that are so necessary in what many consider the hardest position in football.
Yeah, you got to have a thick skin, short memory to play corner in this league.
Oh my gosh, but he's really quick. And again, I will say the instinct that he has to get the football. He had several interceptions and almost interceptions in his years with the team because of that. I mean, there are some players that just have that, man. I mean, they just feel the football at all times, and he has that knack to get into those pass lanes, and I think he'll be a great addition for you guys.
Yeah, we'll see. He's visiting several other teams right now as he tries to get back out there now that he's got a clean bill of health, and the Steelers could certainly use cornerback help, but I don't think he's someone who would join them in time for the Chargers. I don't think he's supposed to even work out for them until next week. But yeah, former Chargers DB is on the market. All right, Poncho, last question. Might be the most important. What should I do while I'm in LA? Should I go to the Clippers game the night before?
When do you get here?
Saturday afternoon, West Coast.
Saturday afternoon. Do you know where you're going to be staying? Because the problem with LA, Brian, as you know, is traffic and distances.
I've been there a few times. A couple of years ago, before the Steelers played the Rams at SoFi, I went to the LA Coliseum for a USC-Utah game. Watched Jalen Williams. That was a good time. But UCLA has a game Saturday, but I don't know if I'm gonna, like you just said, I don't know if I'm gonna make it all the way out to Pasadena from the airport area. So I might just settle for the Intuit Dome Saturday night, Clippers, Suns, and check out some NBA.
That's a good. That would be. I'm a Lakers fan myself, so yeah. I mean,
so I can't.
It's a great arena. The Intuit Dome, it's a really, really nice arena. Man, so you're going to be like in the South Bay in that area?
Wherever LAX is. I know my hotel is not far from the airport. So
okay. Yeah,
I will travel.
If you can go grab dinner anywhere in West LA, Santa Monica, that area, there's so many good places. I can send you a couple of recommendations, via email.
I've been over that way before. I was also considering maybe going down to like Manhattan Beach.
There we go.
Wait as much time there, but I know
I live really close right here. I'm in Redondo, so nice. So there are several spots. It depends what you want to do, but if you haven't been on this side of LA, absolutely, I will say yeah, and I will give you a couple of recommendations. Places that you probably want to try. In this Manhattan, Hermosa, Redondo, all this area, it's very nice. Have you been in Venice?
Yeah, a friend of mine from Pittsburgh actually lives there, and I'm gonna meet up with him. I'm not sure if he's still staying there, but we shall see. So I've pretty much made the rounds, and that's why I'm not overly concerned about spending 2.5 hours indoors at a Clippers game. While
Understood. Okay, got it.
Out on the beach or something, but it's pouring down rain and windy here right now in Pittsburgh, so the weather will be a welcome.
Let me see to give you it's obviously 3 hours of difference. Right now we have 66 degrees right here. It's about to be 5 p.m.
And it never rains there.
And it never rains, and when it rains, it's a mess because nobody knows how to drive. It's like everyone forgets everything about how you do
that
things.
Happens here too. We get rain all the time.
So yeah, but yeah, more than glad. I'll give you a couple of recommendations for your short time here in Southern California.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you so much, Poncho, for coming on the show.
Really it was a pleasure, Brian.
And I'm sure I will see you in the press box Sunday night.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll take, my round before the game. I always think we have to go to our booth who's on the other side. But yeah, hopefully I get to see you and say hello to you personally. It was a pleasure, man. Really, I appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely. Have a good one. We'll see you.
Take care.
All right, folks, thanks for checking us out again this week. Chipped Ham and Football. I'm Brian Batko. I'll leave you with a message from Goldberg, Persky, and White. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer, call your local attorneys at Goldberg, Persky, and White. For more than 40 years, the firm's represented thousands of lung cancer and mesothelioma victims. Call 1-800-COMPLEX or visit gpwlaw.com for a free consultation. Jerry Dulac, Ray Fittipaldo, and I will be out at SoFi Stadium in beautiful Southern California this weekend. Make sure to follow everything from us out there. Chris Carter and I will be with you for the Saturday edition of the North Shore Drive as well. Never a dull moment covering the Steelers. Never a lack of content here at Post-Gazette.com and the Post-Gazette YouTube channel. We will talk to you all next time.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.